What is up, guys? We have yet another Sony PlayStation State of Play that we're going to be reviewing right here on the episode of Platform Gamer Podcast. Got quite a bit to go over, but at the same time, not so much. But we'll definitely jump on in with my co-host, Desmond Dukes. Platform Gamer Podcast starts right now. Hello, everybody. This is your boy, DeMar Playboy Dukes from Platform Gamer Podcast, and my host and partner in crime, Desmond Dukes.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast once again. It is February 26th, 2021. And we got a lot to go over. As DeMar said, we're going to be talking about PlayStation State of Play, which took place yesterday at 2 p.m. Central Time, and then 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which was my time. So 2 p.m. for him and 5 p.m. for me. But nevertheless, again, thank you guys for joining us. If you like what you will hear here today, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Platform Gamer Podcast. Hit that notification button, turn on that bell, and smash that like button. That like button helps get our content out there much more. The more likes we get, the more it'll go out and flourish, and more people will check us out. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Platform Gamer P1 and on Facebook at Platform Gamer Podcast, where you get all of our latest news and information that is mainly going to be uploaded right there on Facebook. And then I usually try and get out a tweet here and there. I haven't been able to do it lately, but I want to get a little bit more active into doing that. And if you want to listen to us in our audio form, you can check us out on Podbean and Spotify. Just go into the search engine and type in Platform Gamer Podcast. You will see our logo, which you'll probably see like behind us in the background picture. So it'll look kind of like that. But that would be us, and go ahead and follow us on there, so that way you will be notified of any new episodes that is currently available. Now then, let's get right into it, DeMar.
All right, so I gotta start by saying this. I have to admit, this particular State of Play was a bit on the disappointing side, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I mean, even with something as big as Final Fantasy to end it all on a big note, even with something like that that's part of the lineup, realistically, this State of Play didn't need to happen at all. Mm-hmm. Most of the games on here were games that we already are familiar with, all games we already know about. They were just pretty much just more of an in-depth look. But the thing about how I feel is all the information that they shared with us as far as latest updates and some of the nuances of the games and such, that stuff easily could have been featured on their homepage. They could have been sending out posts on their Instagram. They could have been tweeting about it on Twitter or even on their Facebook pages. A lot of the information that we've heard in this particular State of Play is nothing they couldn't have used another platform to do it on. I really don't think the State of Play really was necessary to get the word out as far as for that, since it's more just updates on what we already know about as far as for that. Mm-hmm. Desmond, what's your particular take on this particular State of Play?
So I half agree with you. Now, yes, this was pretty much a paint by numbers State of Play. So it is true that, a lot of the stuff that we've seen here, aside from a couple of games that I didn't know about, but for the most part, there were a lot of the games were games that we already knew was coming. I mean, maybe we may have gotten maybe like a release date on a couple of them that we didn't have before, but that was pretty much about it. And a lot of these games did look good. I'm not gonna lie, they did look good. So I enjoyed it for what it was.
Mhm.
You know, it was like, okay, cool, all right. That was pretty much my whole thing with it. So it wasn't like super great, but I didn't think it was like a huge disappointment. It was kind of like, huh, okay, there we go. So that's kind of how I took it.
Mhm.
But yeah, with that in mind, it was just one of those things that, yes, it probably could have just, you know, put something out there on Twitter or on, you know, Facebook, or just put out like a teaser or like a regular trailer or something talking about some of the new features, or they could have just did it on their websites, whichever. But I think why Sony did this, I think it was more so to build up hype for these games coming, as opposed to just telling us, hey, we got some new games coming. It was more like just saying, hey, these games are coming, get ready for it. This is going to be for you guys. We know you guys already know about these games, but we had a little extra information that will make you probably want these games just a little bit more. And I think that's kind of what the mindset was of what Sony was doing when they did this state of play.
Mhm.
Again, I I thought it was just, you know, like, okay, cool. It wasn't like a disappointment like you had stated it. So, you know, I mean, it's a little give and take, but all in all, you know, if I was to give it a scale of 1 to 5, it probably got a 2.5.
I agree with that. I agree. I can agree with that.
Now, by no way, shape, or form are we saying that we're not excited for these games. That's not what we're saying. We're just
No.
talking mainly about the presentation that was brought before us involving these games. I think all of these games look freaking fantastic, but I don't think that it really required a state of play to show these games off. DeMar,
Exactly.
what else did you have to add to that?
That last statement you made is exactly what was going through my mind. It really didn't need to happen. Like, I know one of the games on there, Knockout City, which we'll talk about that when we get further into the podcast. But that title in particular, like that one, typically, especially if you happen to be a PlayStation 5 owner, when you fire up the PlayStation, typically some of the latest games and some of the newest stuff, or if you happen to browse the PlayStation Store often, typically a game like that would just be featured in the forefront as far as for that. So so as far as something like that, like there's always going to be Sony advertising when it comes to something like that. Now, when it comes to Final Fantasy, yeah, I'm glad it's part of the state of play. It definitely gave me something to sink our teeth into. But at the end of the day, it's still one of those things. Yeah, it is another episode, but also, just as far as from my perspective, like this is something that Square Enix themselves, I mean, like many of us gamers, I follow them on Instagram, I follow them on Twitter, I even have a Square Enix account. I'm getting all the latest notifications when it comes to that. If something new is coming out, hey, shoot me an email or just tweet about it. I mean, they did a lot of heavy advertising on those particular platforms with Final Fantasy VII remake when it first came out. There was a lot of buzz around that, and they were constantly adding and doing things with that particular title. I definitely don't see anything being different done as far as for this next episode. So it's like, did we really need to have it? Not really, but at the same time, hey, it's cool. The visuals are great. I'm still excited about it. Glad to know that it's coming, because I know ever since a lot of people have played, and even probably before a lot of people even beat the first episode, I know they were already ready for more. So this is just something. This is just a reassurance of knowing that more is finally coming in on this way, and the wait will soon be over.
All right. Well, so let's go right on down the line here. So the first game that they showed off. Now, I want to, before we talk about that, I want to point out one thing. The graphics in which they use, you know, before and in between certain games, doing like the X's and O's and squares and triangles and all that stuff, like the different stuff that they were using, it was pretty basic. It was cool, but it was really basic. So that right there kind of showed me like it was almost like a throwaway show. you know. So not knocking it or anything. It was, like I said, it was kind of cool, but you know, it just, I don't know. It maybe it just didn't need the flair. I don't know. But nevertheless, so going into the first game was the new Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time. And that will be for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, which on PlayStation 4 it is available now. But when the PlayStation 5 version comes out a little bit later this year, you will be able, if you have a PlayStation 5, you will be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free. So that's a nice little incentive. In fact, I think just about all of these games were like that. You know, they come out first on PlayStation 4, but then later on when they bring out the PS5 version, you got upgrade. Now, this is what I'll say about Crash Bandicoot. I haven't played a Crash Bandicoot game in a long time. In fact, the one before it, which was what was it, Crash 3 Warped or something like that? Something like that.
Yeah.
I have not played that one. I really wanted to because it looked really good. But this one looks great. I mean, it really does. Now, this one was, according to what we saw on the video that they played of it, and in the bottom text, it said that it was captured on the PlayStation 5. So, graphically, it looks really good. You get that 4K narrative, solid 60 frames per second. Really great. Like the colors just popped on that game. And so it's going to be a really, really cool, interesting game. And like I said, I haven't played a Crash Bandicoot game in a long time. This one looked really good, and I'm actually a little excited for it. But I want to see, hopefully, if they'll bring out a demo. I'll get a chance to play the demo first to kind of get a feel for it. Because, like I said, I haven't played it. I mean, a Crash game is probably pretty basic in controls anyway. But, you know, it just looks cool. I want to check it out. You know, I don't know if I would have really spent the money on it yet until I've actually checked it out. So maybe hopefully they'll bring out like a beta demo or something like that, some type of demo where we could do like half of a level or something and kind of show off a little bit of what Crash can do. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're definitely going to be utilizing a lot. Well, I don't want to say like a lot, but they're definitely going to be utilizing a lot of the beneficial features that the PlayStation 5 does happen to have under its hood. The fact that you're going to get the enhanced 3D audio, you have to have special headphones that can utilize that. They put a lot of emphasis on that part. You can't just wear, those $9.99 headphones that you buy at Target. They ain't going to do it. No.
Yeah, it's probably the special mainly the special audio enhanced ones that came out specifically for the PlayStation 5 or any other ones that's like of that quality.
Exactly. Yeah. But the fact that they have the fast load times, the fact that you can transfer your PS4 data onto the PS5, so at least that seamless transition is there. The fact that, like you said, the native 4K, the smoother rates, the faster load times, it's definitely going to be, it'll definitely enhance the experience of a game that I'm sure is going to be still very fun, very popular to play. Definitely some other nuances that I liked about it too. Especially with the cards that they have, so you can use those. So they still got a lot of features going on with it, and I'm sure there's probably going to be some added content that's going to be added to the game just to add more layers to it and also increase the replay value as far as for that. But so far, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think one of the features that I think probably got me the most excited was the use of the PS5 controller. With its special controller that it's got all of the features, kind of like when you first get your PlayStation 5 and then you play the
Astrobot.
that Astrobot game, and a lot of the stuff that you did specifically was set for that type of controller. As far as the feeling of the controller literally changes when you touch certain textures in the game. So like when you do certain things and then you touch something like the controller changes its feel. So it's like, oh, that's really, that was one of the features that I always loved about that. And this is besides what we know Ratchet and Clank is going to make use of that. I can't even think of the term for that use of that controller now, but we know Ratchet and Clank is going to be utilizing that feature, as this Crash Bandicoot game will also be utilizing that feature. So that is one of the things that I'm really excited about that game, because I really enjoyed it when I used it on that Astrobot game, or that little Astrobot, little teaser game or whatever. But yeah. I'm really looking forward to using that for the controller, because I've been waiting to try more games that utilizes that.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
So, with that out of the way, moving on to our next game. Now, this is one, adaptive trigger. There we go. Adaptive triggers. I don't know why I couldn't think of that before, but it was the adaptive triggers. So the next game that I want to talk about is Returnal. Now, Returnal is, I believe, just exclusively for the PlayStation 5. I'm almost for sure it's just PlayStation 5. But there's got some really cool features in that game. Now, that game will be available on April 30th of this year. So I do believe you can pre-order it now. So that's really cool. Now, here's what I think. I think this game looks absolutely amazing. I think it looks really cool. The gameplay is really stylish. The gameplay of it, you know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Capcom's Lost Planet. That's what the gameplay reminded me of. And I thought about that when I watched it. I was like, this is like Lost Planet. And I really liked how Lost Planet's like gameplay was, as far as like the gun features and the aiming and everything. This game reminded me of that. Now, one of the features that I really will like about this game a lot is that when you die, your environment changes and your enemies are in like different locations and in different groups. So you don't get the same, like you're not getting that repeat of what you had before. And I think that's a real testament to what they're really trying to do with this game. And I am looking really, really forward to that, because that's what keeps it unpredictable. It keeps you guessing. It keeps you wanting to be like, okay, this didn't work this time. Let me try it another way. Oh, crap. I think I should have tried it this way instead. It's really one of those kind of games that will do that for you.
Yeah.
Now it's going to have that full 60 frames per second, which most PS5 games, from what I can tell, is going to support anyway, which is that. It does have, I like the way you can upgrade like different weapons and consumables and things like that in the game, which really actually changes the dynamic of how the game is played. Like it makes it more unique depending on what armor you put on, or I should say what weapons you use, what attributes you add, different skills, what consumables that can help you get through, different things. So I am really looking forward to Returnal. That's actually probably one of the games I will probably purchase. Damar, what do you think of this game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They definitely brought it home as far as taking on the element of everything that's been taking place. You're on an alien planet. You were you went there based on a distress signal. Then all of a sudden you find out there's a darker kind of scenario that's being played out in the background as you're trying to maneuver through the planet. And on top of that, like you said, when you get killed, everything changes when you come back. And on top of that, you also are unlocking certain storylines based on the character herself, in which now you have to find out exactly what is about her past that this planet is bringing to the forefront now. So there's definitely a lot of elements. Her trying to figure out who sent the distress signal, what is the deeper aspect of what's going on here? Why am I having hallucinations of my childhood that I can't remember hardly, So it's like it's definitely she is totally just getting mentally, that it's a lot going on as far as for the mental.
Right.
Like that's something that would drive anybody insane as far as for that. So yeah, that game is definitely going to be a major gem when it comes out.
I really am interested in knowing the rich narrative that this game is going to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like you said before, she's trying to understand. It's almost like the planet was alive, and it mentally got into her thoughts and is bringing them out into the forefront. So she's not only contesting with that, but she's contesting with who is White Shadow. And I think that's going to be a huge reveal as you get closer towards the end of the game. I don't think we're going to see anything, not even midway through that game. I think we won't know what White Shadow is and what the purpose is until it gets closer to the end. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be one of those type of narratives that'll do that. And I kind of like that. You know, it's better than, you know, you get like normally like halfway or a quarter of the way through. Now you kind of know what's going on. So, you know, Returnal is one of those games that I am definitely looking forward to. Seeing the gameplay of it, it looks fast. It looks really clean, looks crisp. Doesn't look like a lot of lag or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to this game, and I really like I can't think of the voice actress's name that they got to do that, but the voice actress really fit that part. So yeah. I think this will be one of those PS5 games that I'm like, okay, I really want to play this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the amount of strategy that you have to utilize, and just with the way the game was set up, like the dashing and maneuvering, dodging is the key. Dodging is the key, and the fact that there's going to be so much happening at such a fast pace, you legitimately cannot lag when it comes to doing something. You can't just run around and say, okay, I'm just going to do this. No, you have to keep moving. And that's what I like about it. So a game that could keep me on my toes and keep me thinking, trying to dodge and then trying to figure out their enemies while there's like 3 other ones on the side who have completely different kinds of capabilities. Yeah, that's definitely going to be an adventure in itself.
So definitely looking forward to that. Again, Returnal will be available on PlayStation 5 on April 30th. Crash Bandicoot, like I said earlier, is available right now. At least for the PlayStation 4, it's available right now, and it'll be an upgraded version for the PS5. But Returnal looks really good, and I can't wait. So the next game that they showed off was a game called Knockout City. Knockout City is basically a team-based dodgeball game throughout the whole city, like a dodgeball game on crack. This game looks fun. Not even gonna lie, that'd be something like me and my daughter would play and just have a blast playing. So what did you think of this game?
Oh yeah, I was totally on board when I was seeing all the different stuff. I mean, you could tell. I mean, the fact that they had been working on the mapping and everything else for 4 years, they definitely put a lot of emphasis on the gameplay, the replay value, the kind of innovative strategies that you can use when it comes to the 3 versus 3 team plays. I also like the what was that mode called? The face-off mode for 1 versus 1. That's always great. So, just to touch your skills against one other person as opposed to a team, that's great. I like the fact that with the team play, where like with the new map that they added to it, Back Alley Brawl, where you can utilize the tubes to get around people or to try to use it to get away. I love that aspect. I like the fact that you can convert yourself as a team member into a ball and sacrifice yourself for the great of the team. That is awesome. I was like, dude, that is all me right there. I will totally take one for the team.
Now, Knockout City will be available on PlayStation 4 on May 21st of this year. But what you can do is that you can go on knockoutcity.com's website and you can sign up to be a part of the beta. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm actually going to do it tomorrow because I'm really tired tonight. But I will do it tomorrow because I want to check this game out. But what I like too, and this is another great feature about this game, it's cross-platform. So you could play with anybody on Xbox. If they release it on PC, you can play somebody on PC. Or, you know, if they bring it out for Nintendo Switch, you can have people that's on Nintendo. You can play with them. This is like an everybody game. And I really like the fact that they're making it cross-platform. And you can choose between single and team play. I really like the different shortcuts and stuff you can take. And even if, and they said, and that one of the things that they mentioned was the fact, even if your team is like out, not so much outmanned, but like is like out. Yeah.
When you're going against like veteran players.
Yeah. But you still have a chance to win.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like anybody's game. So you could throw the ball, and if they don't catch it, you know, they get hit with it. And I think you have to get hit a couple of times before you're actually gone. But it's cool because if you don't throw it hard enough or whatever, they can catch it and then throw it back at you. That's interesting.
Which also
another feature. Yeah, it also charges up the ball. Another thing that I like about the game too, I know for a fact I'm going to be using this one a lot. The heat-seeking missile ball.
The sniper ball? Yeah. That sniper ball. That was cool.
I want to use that. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Plus, I like the fact that you can also fake. So that's cool too.
Yeah, that's cool too. I like that. So either way, this is a game that I'm actually pretty excited for. Again, if you want to check this game out, we'll leave the link to that website in the description below. So that way, if you want to go on to knockoutcity.com, sign up for their beta, and then jump right in. It's for everybody that owns a PlayStation 4. So you should have no problem getting on there to do that. PlayStation 4, you could, you know, it'll probably be for like Xbox or anything else. So I think right now, I want to say it's just play. I think they are on the thing because it's PlayStation. They probably just advertised it on PlayStation 4. Had it been like just like the company that made it themselves, they probably would have put like PlayStation, Xbox, all of that stuff. So, but either way, I'm excited for the game. The game looks fun. You guys tell us what you think about that game and the other two games. You know, leave us your thoughts down below for all of those. And remember, the game is releasing on May 21st, 2021, but you can sign up for the beta now. And I do believe, I want to say the beta is probably going to drop probably 2 to 3 weeks before the game is released. And they'll probably have it out for like a week so people can buy it, or else a full weekend, something like that, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. So I'm not sure how they're going to, you know, when it's actually going to be released, the beta anyway, but you can sign up for it now and get ready to do some dodgeball action. All right. So the next game, now this next game was one that I didn't really know much about, but it actually looks really cool. And that's Sifu. And Sifu is for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It'll probably be for PlayStation 4 first, and then you can get the upgrade for the PlayStation 5 version. But what I like is the type of martial arts battle system that you can use. It's really, really interesting. Like you're fighting like different groups of people, but you're fighting them like you were watching like an old kung fu movie choreograph. It kind of had like a little bit of that into it. I like the animation of it. It's kind of got a little bit of the cell shading, just a smidge, but it was more like hand drawn. It looked more hand-drawn than anything. That looked really cool. And the fact that you can use hand-to-hand or different weapons and your character can age. So this game looks really promising. What did you think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was actually trying to figure out some more information regarding about that game too, because I was like, okay, I need to know more about this one in particular. Because me being a martial artist, this already struck chords with me. So I definitely want to learn more about it. So at the very least, I can say that basically the premise of the story is it's the hunt for the assassins of your family. Will take you through hidden corners of the city, from gang-ridden suburbs to the cold hallways of corporate towers. You have one day and countless enemies on your way. Time will be the price that you pay. You can utilize throwable objects, makeshift weapons, windows, and ledges. You learn from your errors, unlock unique skills, and find the strength within yourself to master devastating techniques of Pak Mei Kung Fu. That is pretty much the only information I could gather as far as for that. So it's definitely a revenge story. And it's definitely something where you literally can utilize, it seems like, pretty much everything within your environment. And you have to utilize those things if you want to be able to move on and progress as far as for that. But it seems whenever you do happen to fall to your enemies, the time that you lose will be a factor in that, which that's the sequence of how he was getting older and things of that nature. So, and I think, and from the looks of it, all this takes place in the course of a day. So if you get killed, you age probably a certain number of years, and then you probably come back, and then you just continue, but then you learn other new stuff, you know what not to do, that kind of thing. So it's definitely a game where you have to take your time with it, but also you have to think on your feet.
Yeah. This game, I mean, it looks clean. It looks crisp. The animations look very fluent. Very fluent. So I'm really excited to kind of check this game out. And you guys can let us know what you think about the game Sifu. Now, again, the Sifu is supposed to be released sometime this year. They didn't give an actual release date. We just got a release year. So hopefully, I'm almost thinking it'll be one of those summer titles, late summer titles, almost like in August. My thought anyway. But I don't know. We'll see. But the game looks really cool. Really, really cool. So the next feature that they talked about was a game called Solar Ash. Now, Solar Ash is a game that I had seen at the last showcase when they showed that one off. And it looked interesting. I don't know if I'll really play it, but it looked interesting. A couple of things that I liked. I liked the 3D platformer aspect of it. I like the pace of the game. It almost moves really fast.
Yeah. And
so I really like that. Another thing that I like is the simplicity of the gameplay mechanics. They kept it really simple. Just pick up, do this, and those are, what you got, something like that. So I really like the mechanics of it. It's not something that's going to take a steep learning curves to get, but I like the animations on it. I like the full 60 frames. And then you play as a character that goes through a black hole, and now you have to fight through this black hole to do stuff. And that kind of threatens, I guess, your livelihood and your home. So it's interesting. It's an interesting game. So, Damar, what did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is an interesting game. Just to kind of add on to what you had just stated. Yeah. So the character, her name is Ray. She is a void runner. And I believe the black hole that she's in, I couldn't really hear the guy pronunciate it properly, but it sounded like the name of the black hole was called Ultra Void. I think that's what
that's what it sounded like to me too.
Yeah. And basically, she's trying to save her home planet. Everything is focused on movement and speed, even when it comes to battling the enemies. As you progress, you go against these creatures called Sentinels, which are some of the key elements to saving her home world. And it seems as you progress through the game, these particular Sentinels do get bigger in scale. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so you definitely are looking at you're gonna be probably in some battle sequences of epic proportions here. So
right.
That's gonna be cool. But yeah, like you said, the game moves very smooth. It's very beautiful looking. I like all the different maneuvers you can do as you maneuver out. Everything literally, you're just constantly moving. So that's definitely an element that that definitely is going to keep your mind occupied. It's not something where you can just let your mind shut down and just go on cruise control. It's something you really have to pay close attention to what you're doing. So there is a lot of strategy, almost not exactly the same, but almost kind of like Returnal, how everything's based on moving, dodging, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of elements as far as for that. But yeah, this is definitely, it seems like it's going to be a fun play.
The game itself, as far as like the look of it, it kind of it reminded me of a certain game that came out for the PS4. Not Journey, but there was another game that was kind of like that. And I can't even think of the game. But you're like this chick who's got like this wand ropey thing, and she's spinning it. She's like dancing. Maybe it's called like Abu or Abba or something like that. But she dances through the game, and she uses like the like, you know how some of those skating dancers where they use like the little, or like people like cheerleaders, they use like a stick and it's got like this long like stringy thing, almost like like the string from a kite in a sense, or the plastic, the ribbon like a kite.
Yeah, I know.
I
exactly
cannot think of.
I can't remember the name of that.
It kind of reminds me of something like that. Like, it doesn't exactly remind me of it, but it kind of has that feel of that type of game. So again, it's not nothing that I would really play, but I will say that it will be interesting for somebody else to check out. And that game is slated to be released also this year, but they didn't give an exact release date. So that's that. Next game is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Now, this is for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. This one is also going to be released this year. No exact date, but we just know it is supposed to be released this year. I guess it's a first-person horror. I have no clue what this game is. I don't. Like, I've never played anything. Like, I know Five Nights at Freddy's is like really like popular game, but I have never seen it or played it before. So when I'm looking at this preview, I'm looking at it from the eyes of somebody who has never seen this game before. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this game? Like, I don't know what it is.
No worries. So basically, so Five Nights at Freddy's, it is technically like a strategy, well, not strategy, but it is a survival horror game. Originally came out for the PC, very popular. Basically, the main premise of the story in its previous games was that you were an operator and you were in a control room. And so you had to utilize the monitors to see, and you had to pretty much survive until morning as far as for that. Now, these animatronics, they come to life and they're trying to get to you to kill you. And you have to use these monitors to try to make sure you can track where they are, where they're not, and that kind of thing. So there's definitely, they have an updated Freddy. He's on there. Gator is there. Some of the characters I can't remember right off the bat. I know one of them is Wolf. I think one of them is Montgomery Gator, and I can't remember what the wolf's name is, but it was a wolf. But yeah, so you're playing the character, a guy named Gregory, and your partner Vanny, and you guys are pretty much security officers. And so with these particular animatronics, after they come to life, they're hunting throughout the entire facility that you guys are kind of, walking your rounds, doing your patrol. And pretty much they pretty much substituted a control room. And now I can see where they decided to change directions and change pace, which I think was actually a really smart move, especially for something on console. Instead of just sitting in one spot and feeling that isolation and just staying in the control room, now they're actually putting you out there. So now you're immersed in the entire environment. And so now instead of using instead of sitting in a room, now you control everything through, I guess you can say, as a smartphone, technically speaking.
Right.
You can check the cameras. You can check your map. You can check your logs. Something else that you can. Oh yeah, and of course you can go through your inventory. So there's definitely a lot of things you can still access as far as that. So the main premise of staying on top of the cameras is absolutely very key. Like if you ignore the cameras, you're gonna get killed faster. That's all there is to it. You have to stay on top of the cameras to know where they are or where they used to be. So, but it seems like there's definitely going to be features where now I guess you can run away from them. I'm guessing there's probably going to be some kind of special elements where you can try to outmaneuver and try to lose them and that kind of thing. See, those elements weren't in the previous games. If they got to you, you're dead. That's all there is to it. If they got to you, they got to you. But at least this one, they actually give you more of a fighting chance in this one in particular. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I like Five Nights at Freddy's, especially if you happen to be into horror movies or horror games. Desmond, you gotta check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be pretty cool.
So it kind of has like the way the game looks kind of makes me think of that game Neighbor in a sense, or what's that game with that evil granny? The heck's that game?
Oh man,
I know that game too, and I can't think. My daughter would tell me.
I cannot remember.
I don't know, but it kind of almost makes me think about those kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but like I said, Five Nights at Freddy's. It is supposed to be released this year. The game is called Security Breach. It will be available for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So we'll see how that one goes. The next game they showed off, which was one we've seen probably half a dozen times now, is Oddworld Soulstorm. Now, this one is going to be for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Some of the cool features I like about it, but I already know enough about this game that I'm just like, okay, just bring it out already. Now there's a couple of cool features. Number one, they use what they call 3D 2.90 platforming. It's a platforming side scroller. And I like side scroller games. The game does look really good as a side scroller. You get to play as a pacifist, so you can play like as the good guy, or you could be what they call a destructoid, which you could be the bad guy. In a sense, where you're setting traps and things like that, but you got to go through different obstacles, traps, enemies, different environmental hazards, all that kind of thing. And it's a really, really interesting game. Graphically, it looks really good. The animation looks like you're watching like an animated movie, so it's really cool looking at that. One of the cool features that they had released during this state of play was that all PlayStation Plus members will get the PS5 version at no extra cost. So if you already paid for the 4, basically you get it for the 5 for free. So I don't know if you're not a PlayStation Plus subscriber and you bought it for the 4, you would still have to pay the difference for the 5, because I know a lot of PlayStation 5 games are starting off somewhere around like $70 versus $60 on the PS4 on a lot of their games. So maybe this game is on PS4 is like, maybe it'll be like $60 or $50, and then the PS5 version will be like $10 more. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, if you have a PlayStation Plus, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, then you would be able to get the PS5 version of the game without paying any extra for it. So that's a really nice incentive for the game. But Damar, what did you think about Oddworld Soulstorm?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. They definitely added a lot of layers to the game, so it makes the game a lot more challenging. It's not just you looking out for yourself and just going through the motions of the game. The people that you rescue, they're not mindless as they put it. These are people you actually have to utilize their aid. You give them particular makeshift stuff so that they can help solve puzzles or even help defeat enemies, that kind of thing. So that's really cool. I
Yeah.
like the fact of I think it's called the hitback system, to where you can actually hear or actually feel Abe's heartbeat whenever he's in a
Yeah.
stressful
Yeah. That's
situation.
pretty interesting.
That's definitely an interesting dynamic. So I guess it kind of puts you more into being. I guess it gives you more of that intimate interaction with Abe himself. So that
Yeah.
was really cool. But just being able to utilize the people that you're rescuing, it's not just you mindlessly guiding them from one part of the map to the other. Like you have to legit work with them to be able to progress through the game. So that definitely adds a lot more of a strategy element to the game, which I think is great. I think it definitely takes the element of just being a one-dimensional game and
Yeah.
actually adding more layers. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I do like the fact that too, the characters will gain experience as well. So it's almost like they get smarter. So they can help you out with tougher tasks and things like that. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. But nevertheless, I mean, I've already been kind of looking forward to this game. Like I haven't been like super excited, but I've been looking forward to checking the game out. I mean, really, other than a couple of those features that I just mentioned, really, there's nothing else more that they can tell me about the game that will get me any more excited than I already am.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
so that's that on that. But Oddworld Soulstorm will be available on April 6th of this year. So just a few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks before my birthday. So that's kind of interesting.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so the next game is Kena, Bridge of Spirits. This game reminded me of watching like a Pixar film. That's kind of what this game reminded me of. It's like
Yes.
sitting there watching a Pixar film. I like the narrative with the character. I kind of like where they're going with the story of the character. I think for like a I want to say it's somewhat of a kid's game. So I know a lot of like older kids, like maybe like anywhere between 8 and 13 will really get into this game. I could definitely see that. But the game is supposed to be released on August 24th of this year. So we have the release date of that one. But yeah, like I said, I really like the animation quality, and I'm looking forward to where they go storyline wise, because it looks like it's got a lot of intricate pieces that kind of form this puzzle that that our character will be dealing with. Damar, what did you think?
Yes, and I will add information on top of what you just said. So
All right.
basically, so Kina, basically what she is she is a young spirit guide who uses her magical abilities to help deceased people move from the physical to the spirit world. She ends up pretty much the premise of the synopsis of the story is that she travels to an abandoned village in search of the sacred mountain shrine, and she struggles to uncover the secrets of this forgotten community hidden in the overgrown forest where wandering spirits are trapped. Now, the thing is, what ends up happening is a lot of these spirits become corrupt, trapped, or just unable to move on, and that's where the challenging part comes in. And so the main key elements of the game is you have to find these things called root. And basically, these are timid and elusive spirits that are scattered throughout the forest. They maintain balance by decomposing dead and rotting elements. You find and collect these particular rots and to gain powerful abilities, to make discoveries, and also to transform the environment. So these little spirit things are pretty much going to be the main premise of how you get stronger, how you master more abilities, things of that nature. But yeah, it is definitely a spiritual natured kind of adventure game.
Okay.
And like you said right from the beginning, yeah, I can definitely see this game turned into a movie, no question. But, but yeah, it seems like the environment is very beautiful. I know the music is definitely going to be on point. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
remember the name of the composer, but yeah, it definitely seems like a really beautiful game that a person can really get enthralled in and get lost in and be brought into its world. So it's definitely a game I'm definitely going to check out. I like stuff like that, being an anime fan and everything else. Though I know it's not like anime, but it definitely I definitely like the design of the character and all the things that portray within it. So it's definitely going to be an interesting play. I almost kind of feel like it's kind of an offset of Breath of the Wild to a certain extent, obviously
Yeah.
with different graphics,
Right.
but it's just a lot more of a magical element as opposed to like the swords and the shields and things of that nature.
Right.
So yeah, this looks like a beautiful game though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I on the other hand, I will probably rent it. I don't know if it's something that I would particularly play. I mean, it looks cool. It looks cool. So I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a chance if there's a demo out and I'll check it out or something like that. But I'm glad you're excited for it. I can't wait to start doing reviews on some of these games. That's my thing. But anyway, but Kena Bridge of Spirits is slated to come out August 24th of this year. So if you are looking forward to it, I do believe, I'm not sure if it's set up for pre-order yet or not. I haven't heard anything, but I would definitely go onto your PlayStation 4 or your PlayStation 5 and see if it is available for pre-order. And maybe just pre-order for PS4, and then once the PS5 version comes out, you'll be able to get the upgrade. So that'll be cool. So the next game, we're getting down to our last two here. Our next game is Deathloop. So we got some more stuff on Deathloop. You know what's funny about the song that they created for that game? Reminded me so much of a James Bond film. It was uncanny how it was. I'm like, am I watching a Bond film right now? It's so played. Like if you haven't seen anything on Deathloop yet, go check it out. You basically play as a guy who has to kill his enemies, but the way he has to kill his enemies, he has to kill them in a certain way. Otherwise, everything just gets looped back over again. So then he has to kill them all over again. So you have to find out what kills you need to get to first that links to the next kill. Now, you can be killed too and be brought back, but they have somebody that's being sent as a huntress that is coming to get you. So that's how you have to try and stay alive. There's not really a whole lot more to really say about this game. I mean, it's been talked about now for the last since the beginning of the year. and then some. Even before that, I think all the way up until early last year that they talked about it.
Yeah,
I think it got delayed.
It might have. I can't remember. I believe it was actually first introduced at last year's Game Awards, I think. No, not last year. I think the year before.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember the last showcase, we got to see some of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's Deathloop. We've already seen it half a dozen times. I'm excited for it. It looks really cool. Looks interesting. And I really want to check the game out. So, I mean, that's Deathloop. You guys tell us what you think about Deathloop. I'm looking forward to it. It might be interesting. So, all right. And the last game to talk about is they showed Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Now, this will be for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And it will be available on June 10th of 2021. So it'll be this year. One of the things that they really, really, really emphasized on is the update that they've done for the PlayStation PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 version, like they did an upgrade like all across the board on this thing. I mean, graphics, lighting effects, fog effects, ray tracing, all kinds of stuff they've done to this. I mean, they showed even comparisons between the PlayStation 4, which up close you can still see the little jaggies on Cloud's hair, versus the PS5 version, which looks like way smoother.
Much more lifelike.
Yeah, much more lifelike. Obviously the fast loading times on the PlayStation 5 and the 60 frames per second gameplay, which will really keep the game really moving fluently and smoothly. Now, they referenced an episode involving Yuffie.
Yep.
And I thought that actually looked interesting.
Yeah.
Like, now that was her brother, wasn't it?
I was trying to figure that out. I don't
remember if they even like stated who he was. I don't know if he was like a partner or her brother or some relative. You know, I don't know, but nevertheless, I'm looking forward to that episode. It looks interesting. I couldn't really picture, because I haven't played the game in a long time. I was trying to picture who she was, and I remembered actually who she was. I didn't know who she was until we saw her weapon. And I was like, oh, that's who that is. Okay. It had been such a long time. But anyway, what did you think about this game?
Oh, once I saw her, I jumped up and down for joy. I was like, my girl Yuffie, even though I'm a Riku fan, but I was like, yeah, my girl Yuffie. I love Yuffie. One of the main things that I still hope is that she has the mimic ability. If she doesn't have mimic, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Oh, I'm sure they'll keep that in the game. They'll probably just make it look really cool.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's face it, I think we all got super excited when Yuffie was able to mimic the Omni Slash.
That was awesome. I'm not even gonna lie. I remember when I had that, because if you're most of us that listen to us are fans of Final Fantasy VII, the original. Going down and getting the Knights of the Round,
man,
like summons, that was literally that was way harder than anything I've ever experienced in an RPG. If you'd have put that thing and Sephiroth together, having to fight to get that Knights of the Round, oh Lord Jesus. Dude, you'd never beat that. You'll be spending at least 2.5, 3 hours in one battle before you even can get it, if you win. But God, that was so hard. But but doing when she uses mimic on like what one of your other players has, like you said, like the Omni Slash or something like that. Have somebody do the Omni Slash. She can mimic Knights of the Round. That's just how it is, man. You just get a couple people to do Knights of the Round and then have one person healing everybody. That's really all you could really do in that situation.
Yeah, but just based on that ability alone, for me, I feel that just makes you feel like the second strongest character in the story. Because nobody else can do it. Right.
But yeah, so but yeah, I really like the graphical increase that they get, and I'm actually interested in what made them come up with the name Intergrade for the remake. Now is this just an actual like another episode on top of this, or is this like a DLC add-on? Well, I guess that would be considered an add-on, but because I know we're not getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 just yet. I almost feel like the episodes are kind of like side stories that's going to lead up to the next and final, like the next actual game.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's kind of where I'm seeing this. So So yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, now that you have brought that into perspective, because originally I was thinking that was probably going to be the next full episode. It's just dealing with another perspective of the story, just kind of slowly bringing those characters into introduction wise. So now you can almost say that this second one episode, or I don't want to say a filler episode. I feel like that would be disrespectful. I mean, it's Final Fantasy,
Right,
but
right.
I feel like this particular one is going to kind of add more depth to Yuffie's character and to see, okay, what exactly has Yuffie been doing during all this stuff that's happening. So,
right.
So it's definitely a fresh take on it. Absolutely a fresh take. I definitely want to do a lot more with Yuffie as far as for that, learning more about her, things of that nature, getting more familiarized with who Yuffie is, what she does, who she works for, who does she work with when she's not with the original team. Well, I can't say original team because obviously she was with some other people then. But yeah, so I'd say I want to consider this another episode. Maybe I can consider it episode 1.5. Maybe.
Like I said, I think they'll probably end up doing that, like for a couple of characters that's going to be introduced into the 7 universe that we already are familiar with from the past games, and with them going deeper into Yuffie's story. Like I said, I feel like it's an episode, but it's a DLC episode. So that will be added in, and then they'll probably do one more character to kind of bring that in, and then once we know more about the backstory of those 2 characters, then they'll release the full second game, or I should say part 2 of the section, like the second game. Right. So that's kind of where I see it going. I could be totally wrong on this, but that's kind of the idea of where I'm getting this, because I know when I'm looking at this, like, you'll see a lot of stuff that happened in the first remake that is like being repeated. So I almost feel like, okay, is it either like the same game, but they're just adding her to it? Or is it her story, and now you're kind of getting these stories kind of intertwining just from looking at the trailer part of it? So I don't know. I don't know exactly where it's going, but I'm really excited to check it out.
Yeah.
Because I have the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I still haven't beaten it yet. I'm starting to get kind of far, but I haven't beaten it yet. I haven't touched it since I got my PlayStation 5, though, since I can't play it on the 5. So what I'll probably end up doing is probably just rebuying it for the 4, and then getting the 5 upgrade, and then just like trading that one in or something. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet, but nevertheless, that's my thoughts. So did you have any more thoughts on this game?
Nope. Just can't wait for it to come out.
Well, all right. Yeah, so like I said, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, this one will be available for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and it will be released on June 10th of this year. Okay, so this Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade will be released on June 10th. So, that was pretty much everything at the showcase. Like I said, we're excited for these games, for a lot of these games. We are. It's just the showcase felt very lackluster. You know, like it just didn't need to be there. It's like watching a bad episode of Monday Night Raw. Like, what was the purpose of this? I had to go there. I'm sorry. It's just that's what it felt like to me. Like it didn't need to be there. They could have done something different. I'm not upset about it in any way. Just a little disappointed that, you know, that this state of play just wasn't really anything like super great. But still, the information that we got from a lot of these games, especially a lot of the newer information, did build up some of the hype for some of the games that I am looking forward to. So I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form that these games are going to be terrible, they're going to be bad, or anything like that. You know, this is me and Damar's opinion on what we think of the overall show. The games look great. The show just felt like it wasn't necessary. So I don't know. I mean, what else was there anything you wanted to add on to that?
No, not really. I mean, it seemed like they just did it just for the sake of doing it, just to give some content out there to the players,
which is fine. You know, I mean, it is, like I said, it is to me, it was like just a paint by numbers kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, with the grand scheme of things, though, I mean, a lot of those titles, a lot of people are looking forward to. I mean, I really don't think we need any more hype as far as going into that. I mean, to me, after they showed the first showcase of a lot of those games, I mean, I kind of treated those first trailers like I did with the Avengers and the Infinity War trailer. Like, once I saw that trailer, I don't need to see anything else.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, like you already got my money after the trailer was over. That was it.
I mean, thanks for the extra info, you know, but it is what it is. I mean, still hats off to Sony. I mean, at least they're putting it out there.
Yeah, at least they're putting it out there. Exactly. But that's all we got as far as the state of play. What did you guys think about the state of play here with Sony PlayStation? And are you excited for a lot of the stuff they got coming out? Damar, was there anything else you wanted to add on to? Well, not so much to this topic, but did you have something else that you wanted to talk about?
I'll just go over real quick. There's some couple other titles that are available for pre-order right now. I'm just going to shoot through that real quick. We're already a little over an hour into this, so I'm just going to kind of go fast through this.
All right.
Another game that's going to be available for pre-order right now. It's going to be available March 7th. Is going to be Monster Energy Supercross 4. Okay, this game is by Milestone. It is an official video game of Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship. Basically, with this particular game, obviously it is motocross, and that basically you can build unique tracks with modules inspired by the official tracks themselves, and you can also share your creations within the community, and it also has a new career mode.
That's cool.
That's going to be a cool game as far as for that. So if you guys happen to be into Supercross, there you go. Another game that's coming out, this one is called Monster Jam Steel Titans 2. This one is by THQ Nordic. This one is a monster truck game. This one's going to be coming out the 1st of March, so definitely pretty much right around the corner, but you can still pre-order this right now. It has a brand new online multiplayer mode. You get a choice of 38 trucks, and you can choose from 5 outdoor worlds. So if you guys happen to be big into monster trucks, there's a lot of different flips and tricks that you can do with the truck. You can do backflips and all kinds of barrel rolls and everything else. So definitely a unique take if you happen to be into monster trucks. And the very last one I'm going to talk about is a game called Starbase Startopia. This game will be, this is by Calypso Media, comes out March 25th. So once again, pre-order right now. It's an original mixture of economic simulation and empire building strategy paired with classic RTS, real-time strategy skirmishing. Nice. So basically, for those of you who don't know what RTS is, it's real-time strategies. Certain games that are based on this is going to be games like Aurora 4X. If you happen to be a fan of StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, or Commandos Behind Enemy Lines, or Command and Conquer Tiberian Dawn. So it's going to have kind of like some of those elements where you build, you defend, and that kind of thing. So that's another game if you guys happen to be interested into that. Again, Starbase Startopia, March 25th. And that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. So there's your updates. And again, if you are interested in checking out Knockout City, make sure you go to the website that we are going to put in the description below. You can sign up for their beta crossplay whenever they release that. So anybody that owns a PlayStation 4 or maybe it'll be on Xbox. I don't know, but mainly for PlayStation 4, you can go to that website and check it out. And then, maybe we'll all play together. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us here on another episode of Platform Gamer Podcast. And if you like what you heard in this episode today, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on that bell for all notifications, and smash that like button. And again, you can check out this episode and all of our past episodes on Podbean and Spotify in our audio mode, and you can find all of our main stuff here on YouTube. And continue to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Platform Gamer P1. That is 1 spelled out, not the number 1. And if you want a lot of our latest updates and anything else going on in the world of gaming, go to facebook.com/Platform Gamer Podcast, where you will get a chance to like us and follow us there. And then that's where we post mainly all of our updates. Now on Twitter, I may post something here and there as far as an update goes, but mainly my updates go through Facebook. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My co-host, Damar Dukes, any last minute things you want to say to the public?
Other than the fact that we hope you guys definitely enjoyed this one. I know this one was a bit lengthy based on the games that I know you guys already know about, but hopefully we were able to give you guys a deeper perspective as far as the games that are going to be soon released. 2021 is definitely going to be a pretty good year as far as for us gamers. So we'll definitely keep you guys tuned in to some of the newer titles that are going to be coming out. And don't forget to continue to check your PlayStation Store. There's always new content coming on and new games that are going to be introduced, especially within the indie scene. So,
yeah. And also keep track of what you have on your Xbox as well. And and I know they're really getting ready to really push xCloud for the Xbox, so that'll be really interesting. On top of Game Pass, which has been actually doing very well right now. They've gained a large number of subscribers. So, and then Bethesda is supposed to be dropping some more games that will be in the Xbox Game Pass. So check those things out. And I won't be able to see on Xbox because I don't have one. But eventually, I will get an Xbox One. That's my goal, is to get an Xbox One. Or, sorry, Series X. Why did I say Xbox One? Jesus criminy. I am tired. Look, I had a really long work day. I worked one full 8-hour job and then turned around and worked like another 7. So I'm really tired right now.
Dude, I was so getting ready to chime in.
I realized that as soon as I said it, after I kind of looked away, I was like, wait a minute. No, it's Series X. So I am trying to get a Series X. That's my thing. So anyway, enough of all that. I'm getting the heck out of here. I'm freaking tired. I'm going to get something to snack and then go to bed. So you guys have a good night. This episode will be uploaded onto to Podbean and Spotify sometime early tomorrow. So, but you guys have a wonderful good night. We'll see you all next time.